In the misty hills, ancient forests and desolate moors of the British Isles, terrifying creatures have haunted the land for centuries. These aren't just stories told to children at bedtime. No, these are dark legends whispered through generations. Creatures so fearsome they defy belief. The clawed hag Black Annis, the sinister vampires of Croglin Grange and Highgate Cemetery, the skinless horror of the Nuckelavee and the mournful Banshee, whose wail signals death itself. And that's only the beginning. Prepare yourself for encounters with spectral black dogs, malevolent goblins known as Redcaps, and lurking creatures from the watery depths like the Grindylow and Cù-Sìth, each tale more chilling than the last. And all drawn from Britain's ancient and authentic folklore. Now gather close to the fire and hold tight to your courage, because our journey begins in Leicestershire, where an ancient forest conceals the lair of a monstrous hag, Black Annis. Beware her razor-sharp claws and icy, deathly stare. In the rolling countryside of Leicestershire, there is a place long feared by locals, a sinister patch of wilderness known as the Dane Hills, where an ancient cave hides a chilling legend. They say this cave, with a great oak tree guarding its entrance, was once home to a fearsome creature, known as Black Annis. Described as a hideous blue-skinned hag, Black Annis was said to have claws sharp enough to rend flesh from bone and eyes that glowed with an unnatural light in the darkness. According to local legend, she would emerge from her cave at night, prowling the surrounding hills in search of prey, children, livestock, anything unfortunate enough to cross her path. Draped in a cloak of human skin, she carried with her the stench of death and decay, a haunting spectre that haunted the dreams of generations. The oak tree at the entrance of her cave was no ordinary tree. It was said that she would hang her victims from its gnarled branches before flaying them, using their skins to fashion her grisly garments. The ground beneath the tree was littered with bones, a grim testament to her insatiable hunger. Even the bravest villagers dared not approach the Dane Hills after nightfall, fearing they might hear the scraping of her claws or glimpse her twisted form slinking through the shadows. Parents in the nearby villages would tell their children cautionary tales of Black Annis, warning them never to stray too far from home or to venture out after dark. It is said that villagers would even smear their windowsills with protective herbs and keep their shutters tightly fastened, believing that Black Annis could stretch her long arms through any opening to snatch her victims. While some dismiss Black Annis as mere folklore, others believe her tale may have roots in something far older. Some historians suggest she might be a distorted memory of an ancient pagan goddess or spirit tied to the land, one who was once revered but later demonized by Christian settlers. Others speculate she could have been inspired by a real figure, a hermit or wise woman living alone in the wilderness, feared and shunned by superstitious locals. But one thing is certain. The story of Black Annis lingers to this day, on cold, blustery nights when the wind rustles through the trees and shadows dance across the hills. Locals still speak of her with hushed voices. Some claim that if you visit the Dane Hills on such a night, you may hear her eerie wail carried on the wind, or even feel the chill of her presence as though something unseen is watching from the darkness. Whether Black Annis was ever real or simply a cautionary tale spun to keep children safe from the dangers of the night, her legend has endured for centuries, haunting the imagination of all who hear it. So, if you ever find yourself walking through the Dane Hills as twilight falls, take care to keep to the path, and never linger too long near the great oak tree. For Black Annis may still be watching, waiting for her next unwary victim. As the legend of Black Annis fades into the shadows of Leicestershire, we journey to the eerie graveyards and lonely villages of England, where another terrifying tale awaits. While vampires may often be associated with Eastern Europe, the British Isles have their own chilling stories of these undead creatures. Two of the most infamous tales are those of Highgate Cemetery and the Croglin Grange Vampire. High atop a hill in North London, nestled among ancient trees and crumbling gravestones, lies Highgate Cemetery, one of the most atmospheric and allegedly haunted places in the capital. During the late 1960s and early 1970s, whispers began to spread of a spectral figure prowling the cemetery grounds at night. Witnesses described a tall, dark figure with glowing red eyes gliding silently between the tombstones. Some claimed it was a vampire, feeding on the life force of those who dared wander too close to the graveyard after dusk. The frenzy reached its peak when reports surfaced of dead animals found drained of blood near the cemetery. Local occult groups became involved, and a bizarre competition ensued between two self-proclaimed vampire hunters, each claiming they would be the first to find and destroy the so-called Highgate Vampire. Whether or not the creature was ever truly caught, the eerie atmosphere and strange occurrences at Highgate Cemetery have solidified its reputation as a place of supernatural dread. But long before the Highgate hysteria, there was another, even more terrifying vampire story, one that dates back to the 17th century in a remote village in Cumberland, now part of Cumbria. This is the tale of the Croglin Grange Vampire. According to the legend, Croglin Grange was a secluded house near a churchyard, where a family lived in peace until one fateful summer night. As the story goes, a young woman staying at the house awoke to find a strange figure at her window. The figure had a skeletal, decayed appearance, with hollow eyes that gleamed in the moonlight. Before she could scream, the creature broke through the window and attacked her, sinking its sharp teeth into her neck. She managed to escape, and the family chased the creature away. Fearing for their lives, they later tracked the creature to a nearby crypt, where they found an ancient coffin containing a decayed corpse with fresh blood on its lips. The legend claims they destroyed the body, putting an end to the vampire's reign of terror, but to this day locals still tell the tale, warning travellers never to linger too long near Croglin at night. Both of these tales, Highgate and Croglin Grange, are steeped in mystery. Were these truly encounters with the undead, or were they born from fear and superstition, fueled by long, dark nights and overactive imaginations? Whatever the truth, these stories have endured, casting a long shadow over British folklore. And so we leave behind the chilling tales of vampires, only to tread deeper into the darkness, where an even more fearsome creature lurks, the twisted and malevolent Nuckelavee, a demon of the sea. As the chilling tales of vampires recede into the mist, we turn our gaze northward, to the windswept shores of Orkney. Here, amidst the crashing waves and storm-lashed cliffs, lurks a creature of pure malevolence, a being so feared that the locals dare not even utter its name. It is the Nuckelavee, a grotesque and nightmarish entity said to rise from the sea, bringing death and devastation wherever it treads. The Nuckelavee is described as a hideous fusion of man and horse, an abomination with no skin, its raw exposed muscles pulsating as it moves. Its head is said to be grotesquely oversized, with a single burning eye that glows like a fiery coal, and a mouth so wide it stretches across its entire face. The torso of a man is fused to the horse's back, its long, sinewy arms reaching nearly to the ground, clawed hands grasping at anything in its path. According to the ancient legends of Orkney, the Nuckelavee dwells beneath the sea during the warmer months, but in the harsh grip of winter it rises to the surface, bringing with it a deadly plague. It's said that crops wither at its passing, livestock fall sick, and a foul stench lingers in the air wherever it roams. The creature has an insatiable hatred for humanity, and those who encounter it rarely live to tell the tale. Yet there is one slender hope for those unfortunate enough to cross its path. The Nuckelavee cannot bear fresh water. Streams, rivers and lochs act as natural barriers against its advance. Many an old Orkney tale tells of terrified villagers escaping the beast by plunging into a river or sprinting across a bridge, knowing the creature would be unable to follow. Perhaps the most famous account of the Nuckelavee comes from a man named Tamas, a brave soul who one winter's night found himself face to face with the horror. As the legend goes, Tamas was riding home along the coast when he heard the sound of heavy, squelching footsteps behind him. He turned only to see the monstrous form of the Nuckelavee pursuing him. Knowing he had little chance of outrunning it, Tamas remembered the old tales and headed straight for a nearby river. Just as the creature was about to seize him, he leapt across the stream, and the Nuckelavee stopped short, howling in rage as it vanished back into the sea. Though centuries have passed, the legend of the Nuckelavee endures. Locals still tell the tale of the demon that rises from the depths, a grim reminder of the primal fears that lurk in the dark corners of the world. But even the sea's darkest demon pales in comparison to the next creature we encounter. Moving from the windswept shores of Orkney, we enter the heart of Ireland, where the mournful wail of the Banshee heralds death itself. From the cursed waters of Orkney, we journey across the cold Irish Sea to the emerald fields of Ireland, a land steeped in myth and legend. Here, amidst ancient forests and misty glens, echoes a sound that has long haunted the hearts of its people: the chilling, mournful wail of the Banshee. The Banshee, meaning in Irish as woman of the fairy mound, is a spectral figure whose appearance is said to foretell death. Unlike many other supernatural creatures, the Banshee does not harm those who see her. Instead, she serves as a harbinger of impending doom. When her keening cry pierces the cold night air, it is believed that someone close to the listener will soon pass from this world. Descriptions of the Banshee vary across different regions of Ireland. In some tales, she appears as a beautiful young woman with long, flowing silver hair, dressed in a green cloak over a grey gown. In others, she is an aged crone with eyes red from centuries of weeping. Regardless of her form, one constant remains: her piercing, otherworldly scream, a sound so haunting that it is said to chill even the bravest of souls. According to folklore, the Banshee is closely linked to ancient Irish noble families, particularly those whose names begin with O or Mac. Legends claim that these families are watched over by a Banshee who mourns their losses and warns them of imminent death. It's said that if more than one Banshee is heard keening at the same time, it signals the passing of someone truly great. One of the most enduring tales of the Banshee concerns a man named Turlough O'Brien, who lived in County Clare. One fateful winter's night, as Turlough returned from a nearby village, he heard a soft wailing drifting across the fields. At first, he dismissed it as the wind. But as the sound grew louder and more anguished, he realized it was something far more sinister. Moments later, he saw her, a spectral woman standing by a riverbank, her hair glistening in the moonlight. Terrified, Turlough fled home, only to discover upon his arrival that his beloved grandmother had passed away in her sleep. Though the Banshee is a figure of dread, she is also seen as a tragic and sorrowful spirit forever bound to her duty of mourning the dead. In some versions of the legend, she is said to be a fairy who once lived among mortals but was cursed to wander the earth in eternal lamentation. As the Banshee's wail fades into the night, we leave behind the misty hills of Ireland and head to the border between Scotland and England, where another sinister figure awaits. Armed and deadly, with a thirst for blood, the Redcap is a creature that lurks within the shadowy ruins of ancient castles. The borderlands between Scotland and England, a region scarred by centuries of conflict and steeped in dark folklore. Here, amidst the ruins of ancient towers and abandoned keeps, lurks a creature far more malevolent than any spectral spirit: the Redcap. The Redcap is said to be a goblin-like being that haunts the desolate ruins of castles, especially those that once witnessed great violence and bloodshed. He is easily recognizable by his menacing, gnarled appearance, his long talons, and his iron-shod boots, which make a chilling clanging sound as he stalks his prey. Most terrifying of all, however, is his cap, dyed crimson with the blood of those he has slain. Legend has it that the Redcap must keep his cap soaked in fresh blood, for if it ever dries, he will perish. Unlike many supernatural entities, the Redcap is not a fleeting spectre, but a tangible physical being. He wields a wickedly sharp pike and is known for his ruthless violence. Tales tell of lone travellers caught unawares by the Redcap while seeking shelter in crumbling towers. Few who encounter this creature live to tell the tale, and those who do speak of a relentless pursuer who knows no mercy. One chilling story speaks of Hermitage Castle, a brooding fortress on the Scottish border known for its grim history and association with the Redcap. In the 14th century, the castle was occupied by William de Soulis, a lord reputed to practice dark magic and consort with malevolent spirits. It is said that de Soulis summoned a Redcap to serve him, and together they terrorized the surrounding countryside. The locals, driven to desperation, eventually captured de Soulis and executed him. Yet the Redcap remained, haunting the ruins to this day. Unlike spirits that may be repelled by prayer or holy water, folklore suggests that the Redcap can only be driven away by the display of a cross or the recitation of sacred verses. Even then, such defences may only buy time to escape, for the Redcap is nothing if not persistent. As we leave the cursed castles of the borderlands behind, we travel south, where, across the wild and misty moors, another fearsome creature prowls, the Black Dog, a spectral hound whose appearance foretells doom. The lonely moors of Britain, where the wind howls through the heather and ancient stone circles stand as silent sentinels. It is here that travellers fear the most dreaded of apparitions, the Black Dog, a spectral hound whose appearance is said to herald misfortune, death, or disaster. The legend of the Black Dog spans the British Isles, with tales varying from region to region. On the Yorkshire moors, they call it the Barguest, a monstrous hound with fiery red eyes and massive claws that echo ominously against the rocky terrain. In Norfolk, they speak of Black Shuck, a terrifying canine that roams the coast and countryside, its appearance so fearsome that one glance into its glowing eyes is said to doom the beholder to death within a year. But perhaps the most chilling tale of the Black Dog comes from Dartmoor in Devon, a place of treacherous bogs and eerie, desolate landscapes. Locals speak of a spectral hound that haunts the Wistman's Wood, a primeval forest clinging to life amidst the harsh moorland. It is said that this ghostly dog serves as a guardian to the ancient druids, protecting the sacred grove from intruders. Those who wander too close to the woods on dark nights report hearing low growls and seeing the gleaming eyes of the beast, watching from the shadows. One of the most famous accounts of a black dog comes from Bungay, Suffolk, in 1577, where during a violent thunderstorm the creature is said to have burst into St. Mary's Church, leaving scorch marks and killing 2 parishioners before vanishing into thin air. The claw marks can still be seen on the church door, a chilling reminder of that fateful night. While some believe the black dog to be an omen of death, others interpret its presence differently. In certain tales, the black dog appears as a protector, guiding lost travellers safely through treacherous paths. Yet, whether it comes as a guardian or a harbinger of doom, one thing is certain: the appearance of the black dog is never ordinary, and those who encounter it are forever changed. With the haunting image of the black dog lingering in our minds, we now turn to the Cù-Sìth, a spectral hound of Scottish folklore that roams the Highlands, feared for its bone-chilling howl that signals an impending death. Unlike the black dog, the Cù-Sìth is said to have a striking green coat, the colour of the dense moss and bracken covering the Highland hills. Massive in size, it is described as being as large as a young bull, with eyes that glow with an otherworldly light. Legends claim that the Cù-Sìth haunts remote areas, such as ancient burial mounds, stone circles, and forgotten paths deep within the Highlands. The most terrifying aspect of the Cù-Sìth, however, is its howl, a sound so unearthly that it causes the blood to run cold. It is said that the Cù-Sìth gives 3 mournful howls, growing louder each time. Those who hear the third and final howl are doomed to die soon after, often carried off by the hound to the afterlife. Highlanders believed that the Cù-Sìth acted as a harbinger of death, a spectral guide leading souls to the underworld. Yet not all tales paint the Cù-Sìth as purely malevolent. In some legends it is said to guard the secrets of the fairy folk, protecting their hidden realms from intruders. Travellers who stumbled upon fairy dwellings were often given a stark warning. If you ever hear the howl of the Cù-Sìth, do not run, for fleeing would only provoke the beast. One chilling tale tells of a shepherd who late one night found himself alone in the hills when he heard the distant sound of a mournful howl. Remembering the warnings of the elders, he stood frozen in fear, not daring to move. As the howling grew louder and closer, a massive green hound appeared, its eyes glowing fiercely. But rather than attack, it circled him once and disappeared into the darkness, leaving the shepherd unharmed, but forever haunted by the encounter. With its eerie green coat and terrifying cry, the Cù-Sìth embodies the mysterious and often perilous nature of the Scottish Highlands. But our journey through the British Isles' most terrifying folklore creatures is far from over. Next we descend into the murky waters where the Grindylow, a sinister water demon, lurks, waiting to drag the unwary to a watery grave. The shadowy waters of Yorkshire's bogs, ponds and marshes, where lurks a creature whose name alone has long sent shivers through the spines of children. A sinister water demon of ancient folklore. The Grindylow is said to dwell in dark, stagnant waters, hiding just beneath the surface. With long, sinewy arms ending in sharp claws and a grotesque face twisted in malice, it waits patiently for its unsuspecting prey. According to legend, the Grindylow was used by parents to warn children against wandering too close to dangerous waters. For if they did, the Grindylow would reach out with its spindly arms and drag them into the depths, never to be seen again. Though often dismissed as a mere cautionary tale to keep children safe, the Grindylow appears in numerous stories dating back centuries. Its name is believed to have derived from Grendel, the monstrous creature of Beowulf, and it is thought that early settlers of the British Isles feared similar lurking horrors in the waterways that surrounded their villages. One particularly chilling tale comes from Haworth Moor, where an old woman claimed that her son had vanished near a marsh known to locals as the Grindylow's Pool. For days, villagers searched the murky waters, but no trace of the boy was found. On the seventh night, some say the woman heard a faint, childlike cry coming from the pool. When she rushed to the edge, all she found was a trail of water leading to the reeds and a single, tiny footprint in the mud, one that disappeared into the dark waters, never to be seen again. But the Grindylow isn't merely confined to Yorkshire's marshes. Similar creatures are mentioned in Lancashire and Cheshire folklore, described as water spirits that embody the treacherous nature of Britain's boglands. Some stories even suggest that Grindylows serve more powerful aquatic beings, such as the Kelpie dragging victims into their watery realms to be sacrificed. Whether viewed as a guardian of nature's untamed waters or a bloodthirsty predator, the Grindylow remains one of Britain's most terrifying folklore creatures, a reminder of the unseen dangers lurking in the depths. As the fire crackles and the shadows dance across the walls, we've journeyed through some of the British Isles' most chilling and ancient folklore. From the ferocious black annis lurking in the Dane Hills to the sinister vampires haunting Highgate Cemetery and Croglin Grange, we braved the terror of the Nuckelavee, faced the mournful wails of the Banshee, and discovered the blood-soaked tales of the Redcap on the borderlands of Scotland and England. We wandered the desolate moors under the watchful gaze of the black dog, dared to meet the ominous Cù-Sìth, and finally plunged into the murky depths where the Grindylow lies in wait for unsuspecting wanderers. These stories are more than just ancient whispers. They're woven into the very fabric of the British Isles' cultural history, reminding us of the mysteries and fears that once gripped the hearts of those who came before us. Thank you for gathering by the fire with us tonight and joining this chilling journey into the folklore of the British Isles. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. It truly helps us reach more people who, like you, love tales of hauntings, myths and legends. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you'll never miss another spine-tingling story from ancient Britain myths. And for those who want even more exclusive content, video shout-out perks, and early access to our upcoming videos, consider becoming a channel member. Just click the join button below to explore our membership options. Until next time, stay curious, stay cautious, and remember, some legends are more than just stories. Stay safe and farewell for now.